Can any of you see Sancho ever playing for Manchester United again? Because I can, you know.
I think it's gone too far now. I think, like you mentioned there's been that apology and that wait for an apology that hasn't come. The only way I think it would be realistic is if Ten Hag wasn't there anymore and then he could come back under a new manager and maybe reignite his career at Manchester United that way. But I think for the short term, until the end of the season, it feels like a good decision. And I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not having any indication on Ten Hag and his managerial position. I'm just saying that's probably the only realistic option if there's a change in manager, because the relationship between the two of them is completely broken down. He's not involved in first team training. He's not got that relationship anymore. There's no real kind of attempts anymore to try and build that back up, is there? So you can't realistically say you can come back onto that and get back to the top.
Well, he's emblematic of Manchester United's transfer policy as of late. You bring in a player for big money, expect them to perform whilst not considering the system that they're being dropped into.
Oh, he went in. I was like, I'm not saying anything. And Craig was like,
no, it's true.
Manchester United's midfield revolution. Éderson and Elliot Anderson at the heart of a new era. Manchester United appear to be on the brink of one of the most significant squad rebuilds in recent memory, with the club placing a major emphasis on overhauling its midfield. After years of inconsistency, tactical imbalance, and a lack of control in central areas, the Red Devils are now being strongly linked with a bold double move for Atalanta's Brazilian star Éderson and Nottingham Forest's highly rated midfielder Elliot Anderson. This potential strategy signals a clear shift in direction for the club. Rather than relying on short-term fixes or aging stars, United are now targeting players who bring energy, tactical discipline, and long-term value. The midfield, which has often been described as the team's weakest link, is finally being treated as a priority. One of the key issues United have faced in recent seasons is the inability to control games. There has been a noticeable lack of cohesion, with gaps between defense and attack leaving the team vulnerable during transitions. This has led to inconsistent performances and an inability to dictate tempo. Éderson is seen as a solution to many of these problems. The Atalanta midfielder has built a reputation in Serie A as a relentless and intelligent player, known for his aggressive pressing, strong tackling, and positional. His physical presence and work rate would add much-needed steel to United's midfield, while his tactical discipline would help bring structure to the team. In contrast, Elliot Anderson offers a different but equally important profile. Despite his relatively young age, Anderson has already shown maturity and composure in the Premier League, suggesting he could develop into a key figure for years to come. The idea of signing both players highlights a well-thought-out plan. Éderson would provide defensive stability and control, acting as the anchor in midfield, while Anderson would bring creativity, movement, and attacking intent. Together, they could form a balanced partnership capable of transforming how Manchester United play. However, completing this double signing will not be straightforward. Anderson, in particular, is expected to command a very high transfer fee, with strong interest from other top clubs potentially driving up his price. United will need to be strategic in their negotiations to avoid overpaying while still securing their targets. Despite these challenges, the intent is clear. Manchester United are no longer willing to tolerate mediocrity in midfield. The club is actively seeking players who fit a modern, high-intensity system, footballers who can press, recover possession, and contribute in both defensive and attacking phases. If successful, this rebuild could mark the beginning of a new era at Old Trafford. A midfield built around players like Éderson and Anderson would not only address long-standing weaknesses, but also provide a foundation for sustained success.